Hi, I'm Patty.
I'm Kim Michelle.
And I'm Jill. Welcome to our podcast. It's a great day to talk.
Because honestly, what day isn't a great day to talk?
So join us in our conversation.
A Great Day to Talk is brought to you by St. George Design, offering complete website design, social media management, search engine optimization, Google and Facebook ad management, and many other digital and print marketing services. stgeorgedesign.com. And by Richardson Brothers Custom Homes, third-generation builders who have been building custom homes in southern Utah for over 25 years. They will take your dream home from concept to completion. Contact richardsonbrothers.com. The April Gates Group and Zion Canyon Real Estate have been specializing in helping southern Utah clients buy and sell property for over 18 years. We can help you too. Call or text April today. 435-632-8869. 435-632-8869.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
Good job.
Nobody's going to join in with the Welcome Back Cotter song with me.
I am struggling to get
You're
this.
doing your job. You're doing your job, and that's okay. I will do my job. Hello. Welcome, everyone. We are so happy to have you here with us, and we are happy to be here ourselves. We are a great day to talk, and my name is Jill. It hasn't changed yet, unless you're dealing with Pill. And to my far right is the beautiful, lovely Patricia, otherwise known as Patty. And here tonight with us, we have a very special guest. But before we introduce our very special guest, we want to send out lots of love and hugs to Kim Michelle tonight, who is not able to be with us this evening. And we miss you, friend. We love you, and we're sending all the love and hugs to you and Scott tonight. And so just know that we're thinking of you. And and Sean's here. Sean, I won't say it, but I'll abbreviate it. Happy HB, Sean. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm going to say, they say it's your birthday.
Na 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 na.
It's my birthday too, yeah.
Na na. He's going to turn us off. I saw his fingers going straight.
He's like, okay, I can shut this music down
I'm going to shut you down.
Sorry, show's over. All righty, thanks for listening to A Great Day to Talk.
Told
Happy
ya.
birthday,
Yes.
39.
Thank you for letting us be here, Sean, and sharing your special hour with us.
Well, it was either hang out with you guys or go out and get a steak dinner. And I chose you guys.
Oh, winner, winner, winner.
I don't need a creme brulee tonight. I need to hear my friends talk.
Oh, because it's always a great day to talk.
Shoot. Oh, my gosh.
Cheese ball. But really, Sean, happy birthday, and thanks for all you do for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
betcha.
Have a great evening. Okay, so Patty, I'm going to throw it to you because
I
we love our
know.
special guest, but
We
I
sure
know that you would like to introduce our special
I
guest
do.
tonight.
You know, this girl weighed in at like 5 pounds. She was a few weeks early.
Lots of weeks early.
6 weeks early.
I think
What?
it was 5.
5 weeks early, yeah.
What?
And was teeny, teeny, tiny. And her mom strolled back home in her tight jeans. I'm all, really?
Oh, I hate you.
Sure did.
Yeah.
Wow.
I rolled in my husband's jeans.
I rolled home in my maternity pants.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Keia was so tiny. And so I'm super excited to introduce my friend and niece, Keia Blake, who is a very successful mortgage loan officer here in Southern Utah and super on the pulse of what is happening. And because things are changing all the time and all the misinformation or what the media says, we thought, why don't we get the expert here?
Yes.
And we've definitely had April Gates here and talked about real estate before. But tonight we thought, okay, how are we going to get that real estate? So let's get the facts.
Facts.
So
here I
we
am
are-
with my book.
I
Yes,
know.
my notes, my
Taking
pen, my
notes,
paper.
yes.
Yep. What I
And-
want to know, Patty, is how come our friends are so successful and we are
We are
School
successful.
teachers.
Excuse me. You are downplaying our position and our pulse on the teenage soul.
Well, I guess that's true. And I guess we did send students to be successful
Yeah.
people,
I
right?
taught Keia in 1999. When did you graduate? 2001 or 2? 2002. So I taught you in 2000.
In the
I
year
was
of the
her
2000s.
Spanish teacher her
Yep.
sophomore
in
year.
Y2K.
Yeah. Oh,
Spanish.
yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Yep.
And then my psychology teacher.
Yep.
Yep.
My goodness. It's a
And
small
then
world,
It is
after
a
all.
small world. And Kia is also you were in college to be a writer, a journalist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
English. Yep.
English. And then, of course, we had her younger sister, Brianne, on a year ago, who is a copywriter, English graduate, and book lover, as well has a podcast about books,
Yes.
Brief, if you remember, and is currently writing a book, which is exciting. So we'll have to
So
have her on again.
fantastic.
So, and then they have another sister who's also a super genius. So just all the smart nieces I have.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it too.
I do too. So anyway, Kia, we're excited to have you.
Kia
And-
Blake, thank you for being here tonight.
Yes.
Thank you
Tell
for
us-
bringing your brain to educate us and our
listener.
friend at home.
Our friend.
Yeah. So tell us, what should we do? Are we nervous? Are we not nervous? Do we? I know that someone said they were supposed to be building some more duplexes, and they decided we're going to hold off. And I said, well, that's what starts the recession, when everyone just pulls out
Right.
and decides not to do anything anymore. Or is that the right way to handle this?
So I think a lot of builders, I mean, they were around when the housing crash happened. They're nervous for sure.
Yeah.
And they should be. I mean, it's kind of just personal. They might just be filling things out. So I know there's a local builder in town that also kind of pulled out to fill things out and reset the pace for the subs, because the subs are used to, this fast pace and
Going from one job to the next job to the next job to
Yeah.
the next job.
And
Right.
also
and
higher
in demand.
prices and in demand, and things are shifting. So I know there's a big builder in town that kind of put a pause on it to not scare them, but just kind of give them a little like, hey, things are changing.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
a wake up call.
Yeah.
One thing I think that will be helpful is and I'll be the one that jumps in because I know the least amount of least about construction. I know the least about banking and all those kinds of things. I mean, the two of you really are more in that arena than I am.
I don't know anything.
Well, I would guess that you probably know a little more than I do. So when I hear vocab that maybe I think that somebody might know, I'm going to do like sub. So Kia, subs are like subcontractors that do the electrical work, that come in and do. It's
Framing,
not just
Oh, sorry,
cement,
Right.
electrical cabinets.
right, because typically
Yeah.
it's not one
Paint.
person that comes in and builds the entire house. That person then subs.
Well, it creates
jobs out.
relationships, and what she's alluding to too, or talking about, which is really on point, is that a lot of contractors will have certain subcontractors that they use all the time that
Right.
are loyal to them and give them a fair price, because they have to be trusted. I'm trust. I don't need to go out and get a million bids, because I trust that you're going to give me the right bid, because you're going to follow me from house to house to house.
Yes.
And so what's kind of happened is because we were in such demand for subcontractors, we lost a lot of tradesmen. And so people would come to a job and say, I will double your pay if you leave this house right now and come over here and frame mine. And
Poachers.
So, yeah, exactly. And that was a couple years ago. That's not been happening. But and nowadays subcontractors are like, well, I'm in high demand, so you're going to wait, and I'll get to you when I get to you, and not trying to, they're not hungry.
Right.
And so what we need to create is a balance. Like, we don't want you to be, hungry, but we don't want you to be
Passive aggressive.
yeah, like, I'll get to you, when I get to you. Let's
Right.
let's just legitimately work through things and charge reasonable prices. And so I appreciate whoever you're talking about,
Yeah.
because that's happening.
Kind of the reset.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it helps, reset it. And everybody needs to be a little hungry.
Yeah.
competitive a little
Yeah,
bit.
for sure.
Yeah.
But
So.
not, my husband's a builder and he's been on the podcast, but I know he's had this kind of up and down where some of the subcontractors have been, we'll be there when we can get there because we're super busy because of the high demand. And in the last couple of weeks, he's had someone say, okay, I'm
What do
all
you got?
yours.
What do you
What
got?
can you do? And so there's going to be, there'll be a little bit of that correction.
Yeah, but it's a correction, not necessarily a crash.
Not
No.
not like a new trend coming up.
Yeah.
So talk to us about that because we see and we hear so much on the news. What is it that you can share with us as to where it really is at right now, based on your experience as a mortgage lender?
Okay, so I mean, obviously nobody really knows what's going to happen. Things are definitely inflated, and that was driven by the low interest rates that happened during COVID, which was driven by the Fed buying mortgage bonds and pushing rates down on purpose.
Okay, so will you explain that just a little bit more?
Okay, so
in
the
layman's terms.
In layman's terms, I'll try. The Fed, they don't control mortgage rates. They can, when he was buying mortgage bonds back then, it was pushing interest rates down, which was artificially pushing them down to try and stimulate the economy because of everything that was going on with COVID, and it worked. And now he's doing the opposite, trying to fight the inflation that was or was not created by that
experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, gas is a whole nother story, but, and so now he's raising the Fed rate, which is not the mortgage rate directly. People think, the rate he just pushed it up. I always refer to it as one person. It's not.
I was going to say, can you clarify who he is?
So Jerome Powell is in now, but there's a group of them. It's not just a he. It's the Fed that's
Fed.
doing it. Yes.
With several heads in there. Okay.
So it's the bank rate. So basically the rate that the bank can borrow at, and then each individual bank does what they want from there. So it doesn't directly affect the mortgage rate when that happens, but the mortgage rate also doesn't like it. So they kind of play off of each other, and you never know. When the Fed's going to meet, plan on a little bit of chaos.
Which we've
right
seen
now,
in the last
yes.
2 quarters, right? And what do you anticipate for the next quarter?
So the reason they are raising it is to fight the inflation, and this has happened in the past, and it's worked when they've raised the bank rate to fight inflation. And when inflation comes down, that does directly affect mortgage rates. So the last inflation report that came out shifted things down from, I believe it was 9.1%, and now we're at like 8.4%.
What was the point? Oh, inflation.
Inflation.
Okay,
yes.
9.1
So that
to 8.4. Okay.
So when that report came out, rates actually got better, and if those reports continue
To
to
improve.
improve, rates will continue to improve.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And is it okay? I'll leave it at that because I'm going to digest that.
So I just want to clarify, the Fed rate is a specific number, and then that's what the banks can borrow.
That's what they can borrow from.
Okay, so the banks can get money from the federal government for, say, 2%. And then the banks say they add that on to their mortgage rate, and then they make their money by adding another 2% or whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever they want. Okay.
And the banks compete with each other in that rate, correct?
Yes.
So that really is ultimately set by banks competing. Are mortgage rates different in different states?
States, no. So what typically there's a lot of things that affect rates, and rates change. They're fickle. They can change multiple times a day. We get updates. Sometimes I get text messages anytime they're changing, and sometimes it's really annoying because it's a lot.
Right.
But, your credit score, there's different tiers for your credit score matters. The type of property, single family residence, manufactured home, condo, townhouse, that matters.
Sure.
Primary residence, investment property, second home, that matters. So there's a lot of different things that play into what
the
interest
final
rate
you get.
everybody can get. Yes.
Got it.
So that's why it's important to shop when you are pricing things out, because not every lender can give you the same pricing either, because either their overhead is higher or, whatever reason behind that. Yes.
So they can only compete to a certain degree.
Yes.
Based on their personal, their not
The
personal, but
company
their
they
business
work
situation.
for, their business situation. Yes.
Got it.
So I remember back in like 2005, 2006, 2008, when
it started happening.
when it all started, and a lot of it was because appraisals were being shot up, so inflated, and then everyone, well, not everyone, but so many people were getting interest only loans, and then a balloon, and then they would get for however many years, and then they'd have to
What was the arm called?
adjustable rate mortgage.
Right. So there were those at that time
and
too.
there still are today. You can still get adjustable rate mortgage, which I heard that because for 7 years you can lock in for or whatever. I don't know what I'm talking about, so just help me out.
We're the students here for sure.
You can get let's say we lock it in today at 4%, but after those 7 years, you get whatever it is. So unless you refinance, right? Okay. So would you recommend an arm right now?
No.
It's no different. Is there a reason some people do adjustable rate mortgage over just like 30-year fixed?
The interest rate, depending on the scenario, with all those things that I just talked about that goes into what your rate is, sometimes an ARM is more beneficial because the rate's lower. So for 7 years, you get that lower rate compared to what a 30-year fixed is.
If you're going to pay off your house in 7 years,
Yes.
that makes sense.
Or refinance.
Yes. Like savvy investors, if they do this over and over and over again, they're used to an ARM and they're comfortable with it. Great. But a first-time home buyer, probably not. I think so back with 2008, that was people comparing now to then, it's totally different because of what was happening with lending in 2008.
Bundling.
Yes. So lending, when you got a mortgage back then, you could walk into a loan officer's office and say, I make this amount of money, I have this amount of assets, I want to buy this $1 million home, and it was a stated income, no asset. You didn't have to verify anything.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
Okay.
Also, those ARMs, those adjustable rate mortgages, loan officers weren't educating enough back then to let them know, hey, in 7 years, you need to get out of this thing. Or, they'd never seen anything like the housing crash happen before. So they weren't preparing them. They weren't, the loan officers weren't prepared, and they weren't preparing their clients for that.
Were you doing mortgages back then?
I was just starting in 2008. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then also, what about the interest only loans that were happening back then?
Yeah. Same situation. It was, they weren't paying anything down on their house.
They were just paying, it was like a rent.
Yeah. So they're paying interest on a house they
Really
probably
don't.
couldn't afford.
Yeah. So now, because of the housing crash, as a loan officer, you are highly governed on what you can and cannot do. And underwriting is, anybody
trickier.
that's bought a house in the last couple of years, especially during COVID, it's hard.
Interesting.
There's a lot of paperwork you have to provide. So
Would you say that even though maybe prices are getting inflated, I think home prices and costs are coming down a little, but still it's better to buy than rent?
yeah,
That's
in
your
my
professional
opinion,
opinion.
yes.
Yeah.
And what would you say to somebody who maybe is in an $1,800 or $2,200 rental situation? Are there even houses out there that you can get
For the same price?
Yeah.
Depending on your down payment?
Right.
Right.
Which is going to affect
Yeah.
lots of people in lots of ways, especially if you're young and you're paying $1,800 to $2,200 a
Right.
month.
Your savings is
Probably, yeah.
right.
So
Well, you're probably paying 18 to 22, but you can only get qualified for 14 to 1,500 a month.
that might be possible too.
So I've seen that scenario where it's like I can pay this for rent, but I can't get qualified for
For a
the equal
house.
amount I'm
Yeah.
paying for rent.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Because what's the average percentage you want your house payment to be of your income?
So we can go up to 45 to 50%
Okay.
with total debt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, total debt, not just
Total
house debt.
not just house
Yeah,
debt. I
right.
know. I think Dave Ramsey says don't go over 35, but
I think that's
I
what
would say
I've
the
heard, even with
average-
if it's Dave Ramsey or not. I think that's
Yeah.
what 33 to 35.
I'd say the average I see is 40.
40%.
I see.
So we make
Income.
100% of our income, and 40% is in debt with our house payment and
Yeah.
cars or whatever, and then 60% to live on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the reason I say, rent, buy versus rent is better. Buying is better. I think I said that weird. Is because home prices are still projected to increase, even if it's smaller. So the correction we're seeing is we saw crazy, 20% or more appreciation happen a year. Normal average is like 4 to 5% a year.
Wow.
So we're coming back down to the normal 4 to 5% appreciation a year, and not the crazy 20%.
20%. Yeah.
But probably never go back down below that 20% that increased, right? This was a question I was having with one of my coworkers today, was whether or not prices are going to go back down to a closer range from what they were before this 20% increase on
No, I
house
don't think
values.
so.
I think house values. So maybe a year ago, my house, a house could have appraised for $1 million. Is it still going to appraise for $1 million today because that was that was inflated,
Right.
or is it going to go down and then
Depreciate?
Yeah, and I don't think it appreciates or depreciates. In fact, I think a house is only worth what someone will pay for.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Too. So, even if let's say a
Well,
year,
you just got to find someone that's going to pay what you want. And then there's the statistical average of what, there's a reason they look at comps, right? So I don't know that you can count on what someone will pay for your house when you're looking
So
at
that's
comps,
where,
right?
yeah. So when things started to really take off with home values and the bidding wars and people bidding over asking and everything, appraisals weren't coming in because appraisers have to look back
And
at
see.
comps. They can't. Real estate agents are projecting what's happening and seeing what's going on. So there was a clash there for a while of, keeping up with what's happening in the market, because appraisers, they have to. I mean, they're governed by what the adjustments that they can do and everything. So there was a lot of values that didn't come in yet
At all?
Well, I think the biggest difference I saw was like $125,000 off. It was a big home. The seller or the buyer was still willing to pay that, and they just brought in the difference. But within a month or so, that value was already back
Because
of the
continuing
craziness
to
that was
inflate.
going on.
Right.
Yeah.
But the
So-
inflation you think is going to slow.
I don't think so. What was driving that was demand, not
Right.
necessarily
Right.
overinflated. I would say,
okay.
yeah, demand was pushing that, and we're still short. I think the last thing I saw was we're short by almost 4 million homes for the demand that's out there
In St. George?
No,
in the nation.
Oh, okay. I was
in the
like,
nation.
wait a minute.
So
no, in the nation, not here.
What drove the demand?
COVID, I think, was part of it. People realized they didn't have to live in the big cities. They wanted more space. They started looking around, stuck in their house, going, I don't want to be here anymore. I need something bigger. I need a home office. I need a gym. I need, I don't want to live in this state anymore. I want to live in that state.
Right.
We did see that on the
We
school
saw that a
levels
lot.
for sure.
A lot of kids moved in from states that weren't back in school.
One in the first year we went back to school after the I almost
Yeah,
called
in
it the
20
retirement, but that first quarterback in one class, I had 14 new students, and probably half of them were from out of state,
Oh, for
Really?
sure.
and the other half were from up north.
Oh yeah, even up north because they were
not
not
back in school either.
full
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And so kids were moving here with grandparents or their families were moving
Right.
or part of their families were
Yeah.
moving. And I still see it. I just met a girl that came here this year from Oregon, and she said, or maybe Seattle, but she said schools are still not quite
Really?
back. I mean, they're back, but not, she's like, it's just different. And so,
Yeah.
but I had Oregon, Seattle, and Nevada and California.
Texas.
Oh.
I had that one in addition to
Okay.
the others. I had quite a few from Texas.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay, so not to like shift off of that so quickly, but that's what was driving prices then
Yeah.
was not
Demand.
necessarily, yeah, because
Yeah.
I want to understand the comment that a lot of people make. It's like so many people from California moving in. And we talked to April about that. And April gave us some really interesting statistics that it's not driven by California move-ins. It's driven by, yes, out-of-state move-ins and
Northern Utah.
Northern Utah, yeah.
And is that what you're seeing as well?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say a lot of Northern Utah. I still see California. I still see other states coming in for sure. But and it's a lot of investors too.
Oh, because we have, is it because
Vacation
we now
rental
have so
or-
many vacation rentals?
Yeah.
Is that what
The
it is?
vacation rental market, somehow St. George got known. I don't
Yeah.
really know what happened there. But so I read something the other day that said another reason that this isn't like 2008 is in 2008, there weren't these massive investors buying up all the properties. So I don't know if the statistic is still exactly the same, but through the last 2 years, it said that every 1 in 4 properties is purchased by an investor.
Wow.
So that's eating up a ton of properties here. And it's taking, I think that's not just here, that's nationwide, but I think that's definitely here because of our vacation rental market.
Right. And our location.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Because we've always been a snowbird
Yeah.
arena.
sure.
People
We
coming
have.
for our fantastic winters.
Yeah.
Wow. What are the trends with that then? That is the trend then. We're seeing investors coming mostly purchasing vacation rentals, and how are we seeing those vacation rentals being utilized and being successful for these people that are renting?
I don't know that for sure. They're buying enough of them. There must be
Some
cash
kind of-
flowing.
right.
Yeah. So I don't know for sure like how often they're booked out or anything like that, but
Right.
yeah.
Well, I know I have a couple of friends with vacation rentals here, and there's seem to book up quite a bit.
Right.
I have a friend who has 2 and another friend that has 1 here, and the friend that has 1 hasn't started renting yet, but the other one is pretty much.
Well, and we just stayed in a little vacation rental at our friend zone in Greenwich. Do you know where Greenwich
Where's
is?
that?
No.
Little, I don't even think it's technically a town. It's in Fish Lake
Oh, fun.
area.
Okay, yeah.
Really?
And she says that they, over the summer, they'll see how the winter goes. They just bought it, but it's been booked out almost every weekend. And it's
Really?
just this little house in the middle of nowhere in the mountains. Yeah.
That's interesting because it's, the vacation rentals probably are under a different jurisdiction than like VRBOs and Airbnbs.
No, I think it's the same
It's
thing.
the same thing.
Really?
Yeah.
So that we can then Airbnb in St. George?
Well, yeah, there are certain guidelines. So
Yeah.
like Hurricane can only have so many. So as
Per block. Yeah.
that you had to buy a permit to have a vacation rental, which is Airbnb or
Right.
Vrbo, and then when somebody dropped out, then maybe you could jump in. And in Washington, they don't allow VRBOs in my neighborhood, which is okay, whatever. But the people that bought the house across the street from me turned it into a vacation rental, and so the yard was always
Hammered.
done.
Oh, that one.
No,
Okay,
it was
okay.
awesome. And
Right.
so maybe there was a different car there every week, and I didn't know my neighbors across the street, and I don't anyway now, but the yard was so nice and everything was taken care of, and then it got shut down, and now my neighbors don't take care of their yard, and it makes me mad.
Right. Right. I know it does.
I hope they're listening.
I know it does.
I can't even.
Heard about the neighbors.
I want to sell my house.
Right. Well, and I had just heard, and I know we're getting veered off of what our topic is on this
It's
VRBO.
not complain
though,
about
but
your
it's-
neighbor's yard.
No. Getting back to like the whole mortgage thing, the whole idea of doing a vacation rental, and so that is a large part of the business that you're seeing. Then
Yeah.
1 out of 4 is what you said. The statistic right now
not
is.
necessarily just vacation rentals, but investors in general that are renting it out to lease.
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah,
right,
Yeah,
right,
not just vacation
Right.
rentals. Yeah,
right.
So-
Interesting.
yeah, they're buying up a lot of the properties.
And do most of them come in with cash first?
In the bigger cities, yeah. Here, I'd say, they come in with what they need to.
Yeah.
I think a lot of investors do.
Well, and as low as interest rates were, it was like,
For
yeah,
a
why
hot minute,
not?
yeah.
Yeah, we've got free money.
Mhm.
Right.
I heard that a lot.
Yeah, this money's
Yeah.
basically free. Why not let someone else and I keep my cash and
for
let
it.
that happen? And
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. So with interest rates, I mean, during COVID, that 2 and 3%, that was artificially bought down. And I know that's what a lot of people want now. And I don't know that we'll ever get there again. Before the crash, or not the crash, before COVID, we were in the 4s in 2019. And I've heard some projections from Barry Habib. He's in the mortgage world. He's the guy that you
He's the
listen
guy.
to. He's the guy.
He's
he's
the
the
guy.
Dave Ramsey in the mortgage
He's
world.
Yeah.
Is he the guy with the crystal ball?
Sure.
Somewhat.
Yeah. So he's accurately, projected things a lot, actually. So he's saying he thinks, depending on how the next inflation reports come in, we should be in the 4s again by the end of this year, first of next year.
Oh gosh.
And what are we right now? If I was going to go get a single family home, 30-year fixed with 20% down.
Can't really answer that.
Because there's so many factors.
Oh,
that
because
play
we don't
into
know.
that.
Oh,
Yeah.
so we don't know what interest rate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's because it's so specific and because we're so highly governed.
Yeah,
hard
you
for me
can't
to
give it.
Make an
So
answer
that
our
question.
our interest rates 5%, 6%. I have no idea. I'm sure I can Google it.
Honestly, I thought I don't know, but I'm gonna guess 7.
Oh no, I
no.
thought
They're
they were
lower
more
than
like
that?
5 and a quarter or something.
Because I thought it was higher, but that just I don't pay attention, so that's just
Well,
my
yeah.
guess.
When I was in 6th grade in 1980, when your mom graduated from high school, my parents, it was the Reagan years, and I think their mortgage was like 13%.
Right. Well, you hear stories of them
Yeah.
when they were much higher than even that.
18%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
18% interest rate. Yeah, you're like, what?
I got some rates here for what Google says the rates are today.
Okay.
Can I say those?
Sure.
Yeah.
As long- If I say them, it's okay.
You
but if
can
you
say them. I can't say them.
Okay. According to Google, because that's 100% reliable,
90%.
'Intrawebs.
30-year fixed, 5.87.
Okay.
15-year fixed, 5.04. 5-1 ARM, 4.31. Jumbo mortgage? What's jumbo?
Oh, that is crazy because houses cost so much now.
Yeah.
And they're jumbo loans.
What is that?
So anything over for Utah and nationwide for the most part, there's some areas that are special and given a higher loan amount, but it's 647,200. Anything over that loan amount is considered a jumbo. So think about all the houses.
Over 600.
47,200. Yeah, is considered.
Oh,
That's a
jumbo.
weird
my
number.
gosh.
Why didn't they
Yeah,
just
how do
say
they factor that?
650?
I don't know.
$647,200.12.
They had to have some kind of
So
weird statistic for
They
that.
probably did. So we were at 417,000 was the max loan amount to stay conventional and not be jumbo, and the rate jumps quite drastically between conventional and jumbo. We were there for years until, I would say, I don't remember when it switched actually, but we were at 417 for a long time.
So 417 was a jump. Was
Anything
conventional.
over that
Over
was considered a
417.
jumbo.
So
Uh-huh.
now
Okay,
it's
six.
674.
47.
47. Oops.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's,
and
think
and the rate jumps up. It costs more
That's
to
what-
borrow
yeah.
more money. Okay.
yeah. So you can do a first and second combo to avoid that, but the second mortgage rate is
Always
quite a bit
more.
higher, and yeah. So there's ways to get away from jumbo if you don't have the down payment, but yeah.
Man,
So
I
they-
didn't even know. It just tells
Yeah.
you what bracket I'm in for sure.
We usually find out in like the end of October, November what the next year's max will be, and with everything going on, I'm sure they'll raise it again, but we'll see.
Wow.
So do people, and I should listen to Dave Ramsey, but I know my kids do and you guys all do. But would you say if you have your house at a 3.5% interest rate and you pull cash out, pull your equity out to pay off maybe cars or toys that have a higher interest rate, is that a good way to go because you've gotten
Ultimately lowered you're using your money in a more effective
efficient
way.
Yeah. Or do we keep our equity in our homes, and do we care if we pay off our houses anymore? Because I'm like, we paid off our house, but I've heard that why do that? It's the lowest interest you can have. Pay off your other stuff. I don't know.
So, It kind of depends on what you're paying off and the monthly savings and also the interest savings over the life of that
Of any loan.
mortgage. Yeah,
Yeah.
because you're starting probably another 30-year mortgage over.
Right.
So it kind of just depends on each individual financial situation. But I do think utilizing your equity is beneficial for a lot of people.
You're right.
Is that like a HELOC? Like, could you count that as utilizing your equity as taking out a HELOC?
Yeah, you could do that, but the HELOCs are variable and usually interest only.
Right.
Right.
So that's risky.
So a cash out,
Yeah.
which they stopped cash outs for a while, didn't they?
They put a pause on them for a while back. Yeah.
Well,
Define cash out.
So
Because I don't know what that is.
my house is worth
600,000.
600,000. I only owe 400, so I'm
So I
going to
can
take
have-
100 out.
Yeah.
You can't. You don't want to take all. You can't.
You
even.
can't. You're maxed to 80% loan to value.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Well, because they won't let you go over to 80%.
when you're pulling
Oh,
cash
right.
out.
No,
Well, yeah.
I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do
And then-
remember that now. Otherwise,
But if you're buying your first house, you have to pay that mortgage insurance.
insurance,
'cause you
yeah,
can-
PMI, if
get
you
in.
go over
Yeah.
80%.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. So, yeah, it's every individual. That's kind of why I always think it's important to have a loan officer kind of as in your corner. Somebody that you can call to run those numbers for you quickly and tell you what interest rates are doing. And if they know that this is something that you want to do, keep an eye on this for me. They can watch it for you. It's a beneficial ally.
Yeah. And does it ever bug you? I mean, I know
No.
I texted you all the time. Okay, I want a pool. What should I do? Okay, I'm not getting a
Lots of
pool.
people
Now
say
what
that.
should I
what
do?
should I do?
Yeah. Now what should I do? No, it doesn't bug me. I actually like running the numbers and helping people figure out the best options.
For them.
And if an equity line's the best option, it is, but it's just a little bit more of a risky option.
Right. Than just doing it on your house.
Yeah, because with pulling cash out or even buying now instead of renting, there's a little saying going around that I keep hearing. You date the rate, you marry the house. So lock in the purchase price on the house now,
Right.
because it's supposed to keep projecting or
So
appreciating.
you're still gonna, you'll have
Yes,
equity
right.
in a year.
But if rates all of a sudden come back down in 6 months, a year, 2 years, you just refinance it and drop your interest rate, and you still have the benefit of the purchase price you locked in.
Right.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
and and how much longer do you think that we'll be able to claim interest for our mortgages on taxes?
Oh, I have no idea. I don't. They keep saying they're going to take
Take
that
it away.
Really?
but-
Why?
That's what I've heard too.
Oh,
is
that
they wanna
was
take
that
them
was
away,
a
take it
benefit
away.
of owning a house,
Right, that was one of
because
the
you had the
additional
tax.
ones. Yeah, because you had the tax
Uh-huh.
write-off.
The tax
And
write-off.
what that's, I've heard from different people, and of course, like I don't talk to the people, the experts, whoever the people are, that the whole idea of jumping into that, like Hattie said, is like so that you have that to balance off and to not pay off your house, because then you can't claim that interest on your taxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
I mean, it's a little bit of interest.
It's
I mean,
not.
it adds up.
It's not a huge tax
but
break.
it's not a huge tax break to base everything
Based
off
on
of.
what you're paying in interest
Especially
versus what you get on your
those
taxes.
that have their interest in the 3s or 2s. I mean,
Right.
you're not paying a whole lot there. So,
Right.
but yeah, when people compare, I don't want to buy right now because the interest rate's so high. Well, if you're renting, you're paying 100% interest.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a really
true.
interesting
That
way
is
to
a good
think
way to
about
put
it.
it.
You're
That's an interesting way. to
you're
put it.
building your landlord's wealth instead of your own.
Right.
So it's an interesting
that's
way
a-
to look at it. But
That is
it's,
a really
So I worry about cost of living here in Southern Utah for newlyweds or first time home buyers or
or kids that are just
Kids that
trying
are-
to move out on their own.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I worry about how we have 3 kids, 2 of them own, one here and one up north, and our other child is renting, and I know they're working towards a down payment to find something when they can figure out as costs maybe come down a little bit or
Right.
building costs maybe, but what's your advice for anyone trying to buy a home right now?
having a plan, at least working towards it, is key. Even if you think that it's not something in the cards for you right now, talking to a loan officer to just lay it out. Like if you have credit issues or you're working on a down payment, just go over all the numbers and see. Maybe you're not as far off as you think you are.
Right.
Having a plan to get there, if that's something that you, I mean, to me, owning my own home is a security.
Right.
Because that's, I mean, your landlord can raise your rent up
Every
Right.
year.
Right.
Yeah.
Every
So
lease.
I talked to a
renewal.
lady last week that said that her whole apartment complex was raised by 24% in Phoenix.
What?
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
It added up to be like $450 a month more.
That's a lot.
I mean, she didn't have control of that, you know.
Sure.
And with us, I mean, yes, our property taxes can go
Can
up,
bump
but
it up.
that's,
Ours do, yeah, ours
that's
do all the
very
time.
small compared to
That's not
A month.
24%.
no. So did I answer your question?
Yeah. So a plan, talk to a mortgage officer so you know what you need to take care of as far as your credit concerned, what kind of money you want to come in.
If you're self-employed,
percentage-wise,
you
yep.
need to definitely make a plan. Yeah.
What is the, and this, you can never even say what an average is because it's based on a purchase price. But is there a percentage of down payment that mortgage companies are looking at now or looking for?
No, it's every individual's situation. You know, their financial, if it's their first home or an investment property, that kind of dictates what kind of down payment they have to have.
Okay.
And again, I'm governed by not saying percentages,
Right,
but there are
right.
options for little to no money down.
Okay,
Yeah.
so those things are still out
Yes.
there and
And,
still available
Are
because
there
I'm hearing stories of people that have to put down like 10,000, 20,000. That's kind of the new
Or
norm.
20%.
And that
yeah.
might be because of their financial situation to get their debt to income ratios in line.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
That might be why.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why if you talk to a mortgage officer, you're going to learn that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, listen, your plan is save 10 grand and let's figure out a way to do that.
Yeah.
And then let's talk to your creditors and let's get
Right.
this little guy's paid off or whatever
Yeah.
you need to
Right.
do to clean up your
Yeah.
credit.
And getting a gift from family is an option, especially if you're a first-time home buyer.
Getting a gift.
Like I gifted money to
I
somebody.
gift you $50 to put
Yes.
to your
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So,
house
but
fund.
to that too, so the shift that we're seeing in the market right now, so anybody that was trying to buy a home last year or 2020, you know, they were getting outbid and it was crazy.
Oh my
And
gosh. Yeah.
cash
Yeah.
offers coming in.
Yeah,
and-
it was happening
Yeah.
to my daughter. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's settled. The frenzy is, I would
That's
say, gone, in
fantastic.
my
Which
opinion.
is so good
Yes.
because that was also driving the price of homes.
It was. Yeah. They were trying to outbid each other. It was an auction at that point. So I'm starting to see sellers paying for closing costs again, which is great for buyers.
Right.
Because then they don't have to come up with their down payment and their closing costs.
Right.
And I've even seen some builders and other sellers agree to pay. I just got a contract a couple weeks ago that the seller agreed to pay $10,000 to buy the interest rate down.
What?
And so we were able to use that to buy the rate down, and it saved, in their situation, it saved them about $250 a month, I think it was.
My
That's
gosh.
awesome.
So things
So
are getting
things
better
are getting
for
better.
buyers.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Good. Yeah. Because it was such a seller's market. And I know my daughter and her husband, Abby, they would go look at a place and they were pre-qualified, but someone would jump in and then, they're like, I don't want to pay over appraisal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were visiting with a guy on Orcas Island when we were in the San Juan Islands, and he was telling us, because I asked him that question, what did COVID do to the market here? And of course, it shot it right through the roof to the point that people were coming in with cash offers way over the top and writing letters as to what they would do with the property,
Yeah.
and if it was a piece of property that had been in the family, what we'll do to
Yeah.
maintain your heritage and things like that. And I had never in my life even considered that it had gotten that
Right.
much of
It
a
was very
dog eat dog.
competitive. Yeah. It was
Well,
very competitive.
and I remember Abby and Austin went and looked at a house, and they felt like they were trying to sell them.
Right.
Yeah, like
Right. We're the
"Oh,
ones.
We're
We're the
nice
ones."
people. You
Yeah.
should sell
Which
it
is
to us.
the
Yeah,
whole thing
that's
with
what
the
you're talking
letter.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. And so we went from
Oh, I think Austin did write the seller a letter.
Did he?
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
it's insane because we have seen the market at one extreme. I feel like we are now moving and maybe we're moving past this extreme that we've seen for the last couple of years. So I think it's fantastic that Keia, there are people like you in your profession that this is what you want to do to help people to make this, if it's their dream, to make this happen for them and help them to see the things that will get them there.
Yeah. You never know what's possible.
Well, and that's what I was just going to say. Keia works like she has magic.
We need to say, I don't know that at the top we said,
Did we
Keia
put
Blake?
Did we put
Did
Keia
we
Blake's picture up there?
identify Miss Keia
So
Blake?
if you're on Instagram or Facebook, it's Mortgages with Keia, and she has a wealth of knowledge and also can help you with your plan. What do I need to do? What do I want? What am I looking for? And what's possible, but also what are the different
Different things
programs.
that are available that are out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Besides first time home buyers, there's also the isn't there if you're in rural areas?
Rural right on the outskirts of Ivans.
USDA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And are there is it not VA lending or FHA?
Yep. If you're a veteran,
VA
there's
lending,
VA lending.
FHA, is that a
FHA
thing?
is a
That's
first
still
time
a thing.
home buyer.
Are they still doing HUD homes?
I haven't seen one for a while, but yes, they're still out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, Keia, if you knew that I was an escrow officer in
You
1994.
what?
I was an escrow officer for a mortgage company in Orem when Riley and I moved to Orem from Long Beach, and Bailey was a year and a half old.
Oh.
I worked for a mortgage company. And
Why do
I
I
was
learn
going
new
to
things about you every
I
day?
was a notary. I got my notary.
I was one
And
of
I
those
closed
too.
loans, and that was 100 years ago. And then interest rates shot up, and the company I worked for, it was a refinance company because people were refinancing, and then as interest rates went up, they
That was
couldn't
it.
hang. Yeah, so it was good for me because it got me back down to St. George. So I finished college and became a teacher because it really wasn't an interest of mine. But it was kind of fun to go. I'd go over all the closing docs with everyone and sign everything and then notarize it. And I probably did it for 4 months.
Wow.
And I just remember Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac.
There you go.
And the refrigerator was not on the addendum. I'm sorry. Because,
Wow. I learn more about you
yes.
all the time.
I
It's like a Christmas present every day.
Yeah. I am Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor. There's always some other
going
thing.
to that
I'm going to
tomorrow
break
night.
out and sing.
I want to
in
go to
songs.
that too. Are you taking the kids?
No, just me and Jessie and some of her friends.
Oh, fun.
Fun. Friends, please contact our very good friend Keia. She can walk you through all the things.
Absolutely.
All the things, and is just a plethora of knowledge.
Yeah,
Flowing.
and just
Flowing.
100 times so sweet. And also, don't sell yourself short. Because if you're worried that you're not in a position, you may not know that you really are in a good
or that
position.
you're much
or you're really
closer than you
close.
thought you were.
So I encourage everyone to go out there and see what you can do.
Keia, thank you so,
Keia, thanks so much.
It was so great to have you
I'm
here.
actually encouraged. This isn't a discouraging time.
No.
We're going to be fine.
Yeah,
Gonna be fine.
Everything's going to
absolutely.
be fine.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening to It's a Great Day to Talk. Be sure to follow and subscribe to us on your favorite podcast platform.
And until next week,
Get out there and talk.
This has been a production from a podcast studio.